Yes, people, welcome back to Albert JTV with a little bit of a hoarse voice, as you can probably imagine. Arsenal 3, Southampton 3, plenty to talk about for this match review this morning. We'll be back after the intro. Footballing community, you should know what to do by now. Like, share, and subscribe. Welcome back to Albert JTV. A social media platform. Know what you're talking about. And what I mean by that is goals, ESR and Saka have done well. They've done okay. They've done well. Good morning once again, people. Welcome back to Albert JTV for this very early morning match review, which has to be done because it wasn't happening last night by the time I got it anyway. Yeah, still, man, emotions are pretty still raw after that. A mixture of emotions is an understatement for every Arsenal fan, whether he's at the game, as I was yesterday, or people that watched it at home, or saw highlights or illegal streamed it, however you watched it. Yeah, Ray, listen, thank you for agreeing to come on, which you agreed a couple of days ago anyway. But
yeah,
I am going to ask you how you are this morning, but I already kind of know the answer. So, yeah, what's your immediate thoughts, mate?
just disappointed, mate. Pleasure to be on with you, of course. But in terms of the result yesterday, mate, it's a bit of a killer. And we have to sort of pick ourselves up off the canvas, really, in order to recover from it. But it ain't over until it's over.
Yeah, it's true. As you know, I experienced my first club level atmosphere at the ground yesterday. Nice seat, man. I must admit, flipping hell. But yeah, my club level experience for the game was spoilt by the result yesterday. I almost don't know where to start, really. I guess I was stunned, really. But obviously coming to the ground, I heard that there's two changes. Zinchenko comes back in, which I was surprised to hear. Not upset, but surprised. And obviously Vieira comes in. Let's start with that, and then we'll sort of move on into how we started the game.
Yeah.
So yeah, what are your thoughts about the two players coming in? Was you expecting Zinchenko to come back in, or Tini to start?
Yeah. As soon as Zinchenko was fit, he's always going to start for us, isn't he? So that wasn't really a surprise. We heard sort of an hour or so before kickoff that Granit Xhaka might have been out, and that turned out that rumor was true. At the time, I was quite pleased with Fabio Vieira coming in. I know he's a different sort of profile to Xhaka, but at home, left-footed on that side, he can pick passes. You know, that's sort of the ideal game on paper that you're going to play in. So,
yeah,
in terms of the lineup, I couldn't really grumble with it, to be fair. What did you think?
Well, I had my predicted lineup. It weren't majorly different, to be honest. Yeah, obviously Xhaka was out, which was a miss. But quietly confident that they could get the job done against a team that has got minus 29 goal difference, hasn't won before yesterday. I think haven't won in 7. Can't really score for toffee. You couldn't have cherry picked a game for Arsenal to come into, really. I mean, I don't know. I hear the adage. Yes, there's no easy games in the Premier League. However, Arsenal are going for a title race. But yeah, we'll delve into it. So yeah, mate, we start the game, and I want to say this. This has been a warning sign for quite a while. I'm sure Arsenal fans are taking heed because we could see the second fastest Grand Premier League history. We played Bournemouth. We started poorly against Leeds. They almost scored in the first few seconds. We started poorly against I can't remember the other team it was now. Palace. It was happened again. They started.
Yeah.
It's been coming. It has been coming. But even I wasn't prepared to concede a goal after 25 seconds. I mean, Ramsdale, listen, you saw what happened the night before with David De Gea against from United against Sevilla. Yes, Zinchenko demanded the ball rate, but I'm sorry. The only way you're going to
get that wasn't on, was it?
Yeah, it wasn't on. The only way you're going to get that pass through is if you fire at him like a cannon. But then even then he's got to control it and bring it down. But the obvious pass, the easiest pass was to Gabriel. But yeah, what do you make of the start, mate? I mean, horror start again.
Yeah, it's horrendous, wasn't it? I mean, when you literally give them a goal, I mean, don't get me wrong, you still Alcaraz, I think it is, has to close the player down, stop it, control it, shoot, get it on targets. There's still, facets to that goal that has to happen. But when you almost sort of gift it to them, it's going to be an uphill battle, and it sets the whole tone of the game from there on, doesn't it? I know you mentioned about the David De Gea mistake yesterday, and yeah, it was similar, but you're right. It's either pass it to Gabriel or pass it to Holding either side of you, just because that middle option wasn't really there. And yeah, I mean, listen, we play out from the back. That's the team we are, right? And we love it when it goes well for us. The reason why we do it is so that we can potentially take 2 or 3 players out of the game. We can move further up the pitch, and we can sort of create those overloads and those attacking areas. And it really sort of does benefit us from that point of view. So it's a big part of our game. So eventually, Albert, we are going to do that, and we are going to mess it up. And unfortunately for us, that's what happened last night. So although obviously it's gutting, and it is a terrible I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat it. It is a terrible mistake.
Yeah.
I think eventually, mate, it's going to be in the post, because that's how we play. But yeah, it was a terrible start, and like I say, it just from then on, it just sets the tone, doesn't it, of the game. Rather than be able to grow into it, control it, and sort of dominate. Now we're chasing. Now we have to be a bit more almost desperate in our play, and I don't think that suits anyone really, especially at home at the Emirates.
Yeah. Ray, just to say, you got a little bit of feedback, so maybe you might want to go in and come back out and sort of adjust your audio a little bit, or your mic, because it's a tiny bit of feedback when you're doing it. Yeah,
no worries.
So yeah, people, I'm going to talk for now until Ray comes back. Yeah. So listen, I couldn't believe it. The warning site. Like I said before Ray did his little monologue, is this has been warning signs for weeks with Arsenal, particularly at home at the Emirates. Like I said, the start against Bournemouth, the start against Palace, the start against Leeds, and the same thing again yesterday. You can forgive a team making a mistake by conceding the goal, the second quickest goal in Premier League history. We played Bournemouth, but for it to happen twice in the season within the first minute, it's not acceptable. It's not acceptable, particularly in the position that you're gaining. I'm going to bring back Ray, and people, all your listeners are going to bring back Ray, and had a bit of technical issues. We're going to bring him in. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
No feedback. I'll let you know if there is. I'll let you. I'll pop it in the car.
Yeah.
But cool. No, I'm just saying. To concede the goal we did against Bournemouth as quick as we did is not great. For the same thing to happen again in the same season is not acceptable. That's mate. We've conceded 7 goals in 3 games. The clean sheets are dried up. People say the old saying goes, isn't it? Goals win matches and clean sheets win your league titles. But at the moment, we're doing 1 out of 2. And yeah, you're right, mate. I'll come back to it again in a minute. In the sense of, stadium was stunned, man. The crowd have been fantastic this season. We could try and get the players up, and then we compound things even worse, my friend, and we concede the second goal to go 2-0. When you probably watched it back, the second goal, did we just get carved open, or do you think defensively, again, just not good enough?
Yeah, I mean, how often have we seen that Theo Walcott goal at the Emirates? It's been too many times, right? So we know what he's all about. We know his strengths and his weaknesses. Can you hear me all right, by the way?
Yeah. I'll let you know the feedback. Yeah, no worries, man.
All right, nice one. So yeah, we know what sort of goal Theo Walcott is best at. We know he's better off the ball than he is on it, and his movement is always going to be a problem. Doesn't matter how old he is, you never really lose that. I don't think there was enough pressure on the ball in midfield. I think it was Alcaraz that was able to pick it up. Yeah, we lost it. Yeah. And when we do lose it, there isn't someone there to try and recover it. Maybe that is where we kind of miss Xhaka in a way, because his ability to win those second balls and sort of tie up loose ends is very underrated for us. The but yeah, the ball just goes through to Alcaraz. He's got far too much time and space, in my opinion, to be able to pick that pass. You know, it's a difficult one to defend once it is played out to Walcott, or into Walcott, should I say? But yeah, it's so avoidable, mate. Credit Walcott for his finish. Like I say, we've seen that hundreds of times. And, you know, fair play to him. He showed a bit of respect by not celebrating. But, yeah, mate, that goal was, again, in a different way. It was just a complete calamity. And, yeah, if we're going to potentially win this league, we need to cut out them errors ASAP.
Yeah, that's the problem, mate. The issue is, you're right. We do need to cut out these defensive lapses, but the problem is it's still happening with 6 games to go. Is it 6 games to go? Is it? I believe it is. I don't know what I said before. I was asked a question a few weeks ago when we played Bournemouth at home. Why are we causing ourselves these issues defensively? And I just said, look, I can sit here and give you a long-winded science essay about why it is, but to me, it's simple. It's concentration. Because you can't be conceding 2 goals at home within the space of 30 seconds. Ray, it's just not. It's at any standard of football. I don't care if your coach is experienced or not. That cannot happen, and it's made even worse that you're going for a league title, and no disrespect, you're playing against 2 teams that are fighting for relegation.
Yeah, no, you're right, mate. It's not good enough. You know, they are really, really poor goals to concede. You know, and I agree. You know, it is lapse of concentration because the game's just started, and if you're not concentrating when the game's just started, you know, then you're always going to be in trouble. You're always going to, you know, makes life difficult for yourself. So yeah, I agree. It's, you know, in terms of the errors we're making at this stage of the season as well, such a crucial stage of the season. It really is unforgivable to see.
And let me say something as well. I know, listen, we've seen this discussion had over weeks and weeks because obviously Rob Holding's come in, right, for Saliba. Listen, we know Saliba's a miss, but let's be frank, Ray. Saliba's played a majority of the season, and our home form is still poor. I think you probably saw the stat. I actually saw it this morning. We've conceded 21 goals at home. Only Southampton and Leeds have conceded more. That's not.
No.
I mean, when you think about, I mean, I'm laughing, but I mean, when you dig it really, really deep, it probably highlights more. We thought we was concerned about the defending anyway, particularly at home. I mean, that stat doesn't. I mean, the other one was, you know, 3 clean sheets at home, mate. You know what I mean? Only Southampton have fewer clean sheets. I mean, we've won a lot of games at home, and I think that's masked some of the goals we've let in. And I mean, defensively, set piece wise as well, it's got worse for me. I don't know what's happened. I genuinely don't know what's happened. Like I said, the first 15 minutes, I sat there stunned, mate. And I thought part of the problem is, and I'm going to come back to you again, I just thought our passages of play were too slow.
Yeah,
I don't mind you building from the back. That's not the issue. It's how quickly you transition. It's too slow. It was way too slow. So actually, you made it very easy for Southampton, to be honest, to pick us off because, yeah, Martinelli had a bit more joy. I thought in the first half, I thought he gave Walker Peters a bit of a torrid time, if I'm being honest. Saka was okay on the other side, but I looked at the performance in the first half, especially, including the goal. But what did you make of it, just as a piece for that first 45?
Yeah, just slow and lethargic. You know, it looked like the team had a night out or something, and it just, you know, rolled into the Emirates. Yeah, I mean, it's just not the intensity we need to play at to put these teams to bed. And what leaves me scratching my head is that, okay, for half an hour at Anfield, we can play at that intensity. For 25 minutes at West Ham, we can play at that intensity. But for whatever reason, at home, it seems like there's pressure, and of course there's pressure on us, but it seems like there really is that added pressure just to play like that, you know, for the 90 minutes. So the fact that we struggled and that we, you know, did look so off it, it's just baffling to me. But ultimately, mate, when you're going to make mistakes that are so costly in terms of conceding goals, it just gives you an uphill battle to start with, you know, because once we go 1-0 down within a minute or 28 seconds or whatever, we then have to, you know, come out. We then have to be a bit more desperate. And like I say, it was really weird because we were either slow and lethargic, or we looked a bit desperate and a bit, you know, we need to make things happen now. So the balance was completely off. I don't know what you thought.
Yeah, two words come into mind with Arsenal. It's not necessarily a criticism because it's what I've seen this season. Emotional and chaotic.
Yeah,
emotions. It's not a bad thing, but you got to know how to temper it a little bit. And at moments, particularly in the first half, yes, the crowd are getting frustrated and the rest of it, but at times it just seemed a little bit chaotic, mate. Not just defensively. I mean, the problem we've got, Ray, and yeah, we can talk about the defense. I mean, I can't believe the stats, to be honest. 21 goals because he's at home. That's quite damning, actually. And I said to a couple of guys yesterday after the game that if Arsenal don't get it done, scoring goals ain't the problem. Because if you can go and find the stats for yourself. The issue is not scoring goals. Look who scored the goals yesterday for us: Odegaard, Saka, and Martinelli.
Yeah,
they've been the cornerstones of why we've got a lot of the wins we've got this season. But unfortunately, defensively and even midfield-wise, he wasn't great yesterday. We'll come on to that a bit more. But I thought, I don't know how you felt. We got it back to 2-1. Good finish by Martinelli, actually. Really good finish. Good work by Saka. But I just felt we needed to get the second goal, man, because you get it back to 2-2. And it is a different team talk. But I thought going in at 2-1, it wasn't over, Ray, but I guess from a selfish point of view, you want to get it back to level peggings because you know what Southampton are going to do when they come back in the second half. And that's kind of what happened. But what did you make of the start of the second half, man?
Yeah, I mean, the start of the second half was, again, just chaos, wasn't it? Touching on the end of the first half, sorry, mate. We had one off the line, didn't we?
Yes.
We did turn the screw a little bit. I think it was vital that we tried to at least come back and get level at half time or just after. At half time, they brought on that Lianco, I think his name is.
Yes, yeah.
Horrible player, by the way. I remember when the reverse fixture, he was an absolute piece of work, wasn't he? So he was exactly the same in this game as well. But yeah, you know, they set up in a back five, I believe, and they just sort of said, okay, you know, bring it. We'll soak up whatever you've got to do, and we'll try and hit you on the break or get a set piece goal. So yeah, I think it's difficult for me to try and sit here and explain because I feel like we've done well and I feel like we were able to create a lot of chances and we were on the ball and we were in the right areas. I mean, I remember seeing a stat. I think the ball was in their half. I think it was like 44% of their box, 44%.
Yeah.
Middle third 44, and in ours it was like 18 or something.
Yeah.
So we were doing all the right things, but again, a bit like defensively, we weren't switched on. When it counted in that final third, I don't think we were really that switched on either.
Yeah.
So it was frustrating to see.
I think okay. Can you see the stats? Yeah, I actually had a brief look this morning. I didn't even check when I got in, mate, last night, to be honest.
Yeah.
But you know what it is, mate? Sometimes stats can be deceiving, man, when you're sort of at the game where you just watch it and you think, wow, did that really happen? Yeah, luckily we had a lot of, you know what it is? There were moments, right, when I think the problem was, even when we did have decent passages of play, we were either wasteful in terms of chance, because we did have chances. I mean, Jesus had a couple of good chances, actually. But I just thought in the final third, we just to be fair, Southampton threw the bodies at everything, but I just thought final third we was lacking. There was too many players that were off it, and there was too many areas of the pitch we were poor. And Ray, talking to me about the third goal we conceded, because I don't even know what to say.
Yeah, I mean, I was devastated when that went in. So God knows what it was like actually in the ground.
Yeah.
Again, it's a set piece, isn't it? It's a set piece from a corner.
Crazy. Flick
you
on
know,
the back
they
post.
flick on. Yeah, exactly. So there's no pressure there. There's no one marking the guy at the back post. Kalatakar, I think his name is.
Yeah.
So yeah, just when you see it back, it looks so basic as well. And
Very.
like I say, there's no one claiming it. There's no one taking responsibility for it. And it's a strange one because last season we were actually very good at defending set pieces. And you think of the improvement and everything that's happened this season. It, like I say, it baffles me that for whatever reason that seems to be our Achilles heel this season, doesn't it? So yeah, gutted when that third went in, because then as soon as that goes in, they're two up. Then you just think, well, there's no chance of winning this. There was still a bit of time to go, but yeah, you just think by then it just completely takes the sting out of the game, and the crowd as well. Don't know what your thoughts were.
Yeah, I saw the camera shot when the first goal went in, Mikel Arteta on the touchline. He's thinking, what are these guys doing, man? Like, I mean, you get the moments like the Ramsdale incident in the first half and the marking for the third goal. And as much as people want to get on Arteta, and there were plenty when I was speaking to him outside the stadium, and even a run up in the last few weeks, you know, we see it with our fan base. I get it. I get the anger. I get the frustration. I get the disappointment. Listen, I was there. My voice is still feeling it from yesterday. I mean, I said to you before we went live, Bournemouth was torture watching that. I defy any Arsenal fan to tell me they enjoyed watching that game. For the drama and the theatre of it, yeah, maybe, but for me, yesterday was hell. The president was set with obviously conceding the first goal. You look at the third goal. I don't think he played that great. Thomas Partey, I don't know what's really happened to him, if I'm being honest. Yeah, you can talk about he missed Xhaka yesterday there, but he was poor last week.
Yeah.
And there's been times, Ray, it's obviously because he's played well, but I've always said, I've always said it, sometimes he drives me absolutely mad with the way he gives away the ball. I think to myself, this guy is an experienced player, man. And sometimes decision making, as we'll talk about with that shot at the end, but no, yeah. Listen, 3-1. I get it why some Arsenal fans left. Whether you want to call it wrong or right, I don't really care, mate. To be honest, I mean, I was sat there, I was watching it. You know, I mean, you're 3-1 down with what just 10 minutes to go, and then with 2 minutes to go, you're still 3-1 down. Then Erdegaard gets the goal, and it's Rocky time, innit, at the Emirates again. And then we get the third goal. I mean, I've got to be honest, mate. Just in terms of an atmosphere in the stadium, it was charged, man. From when the second and the third goal, honestly, I think that's why my voice went. It was, and then we had 8 minutes additional time. I think we had 7 minutes in the first half as well. So, and to be honest, you know what? It could have been a lot more. But yeah, Rory, what's your thoughts at 3-1 with 2 minutes to go? Did you get ready to turn off the television, or go and have a
beer? Mate, generally, if I wasn't doing this with you this morning, I would have turned it off.
Yeah,
because I was like, well, although I try and be as positive as I can, and I try and always glass half full, when you're losing in a game that you have to simply win for your season, I don't think any Arsenal fan would think that we're going to get anything from that. So to at least get a point, don't get me wrong, in the cold light of day, we needed to win, but to fight back and at least get something from it, you can be a bit, happy with, or at least pleased with. But yeah, mate, it was incredible to get those 2 goals. So again, you said your voice is struggling a little bit from it, but in terms of the extra time as well. We definitely had chances to go on and win it. We just needed that composure, which unfortunately for us, we just didn't show.
Right, I want to ask you quickly because I someone made the point, actually I saw it on Twitter this morning, in terms of any of the penalty shouts. Was they shown again on TV, or because it was hard to see really at real time if there was genuine penalty. Was
not really, mate, not really. They showed them sort of a few minutes after, but they didn't sort of show them there and then, and we need to check VAR. No, they just kind of let the play go on. And to be honest, mate, when they did show them back, I didn't think they were penalties. I think we were just trying everything we could. Yeah. Some people might say something else, but I just think we were just literally trying to do something. So yeah, like I say, it was just annoying because we have been playing so well, and I know that we can create those chances. Like I say, we were good in terms of our domination of the ball in the second half, getting in those areas. But for whatever reason, it was just that final pass, that final ball, that composure. It was just completely lacking, wasn't it? So yeah, just it's just gutting. It really is just gutting.
Yeah, just quickly, because I don't want to keep you too long, and obviously I've got to get to work myself, and it's going to be fun today. the last thing I want to see is flaming customers, mate. Trust me. But no, quickly about Vieira, two-part question, and again, in terms of subs, was there any issues for you? But quickly with Vieira before I come to you. I think the go-to thing people say with him is the physicality. He's got to go to the gym. I don't want to hear none of that talk. That was nothing to do with physicality yesterday. That was nothing to do with physique yesterday. He was just poor. To me, there were too many times when I wasn't even aware he was even playing. To be honest, I don't know what position he was. To me, it just seemed like for someone who's technically good on the ball, he didn't really seem really demand the ball or get into areas where he was effective. I thought some of his decision making was poor. A lot of some of the crowd were really getting on him from what I could see. Nothing too over the top, you understand, but
frustration though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's frustration. But I think if I'm judging it by what I've seen with him this season, I'm not impressed, mate. If I'm being honest, coming to you.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, I slightly disagree. Don't get me wrong; he was poor yesterday. He hasn't really been at it in the last few games he's come on. But I do think there is a player there, and whether or not he needs to go out on loan or it's just maybe next season it will click, I don't know. But I do feel like there is, when he's given time on the ball, and this is the big thing about the Premier League, isn't it? You don't get that time and physicality, with the physicality and speed. But when he's given time, I do think that he can pick out passes, he can get shots away, and he can help dictate the tempo of how we play. I just think at the moment that he's come in, and obviously the Premier League at this moment in time is just way too much for him. I think we brought him in as a squad option to challenge for a top 4 place. I don't think we brought him in as a squad option to challenge for a title, and that's just where the difference is at the moment. But I do believe that if he's given time and patience, he could be a good player. But like I say, I don't know whether that's going to be with us or whether he needs to go out on loan.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I have to judge it by what I see in terms of his performances. And he had the period where he played. I think he played 3 games on the spin. He played Europa League, and he started against Bournemouth, and I'm sure he started the week after as well. And I'm watching it, and I'm thinking, I don't go down the route of the whole physicality talk, bro. I just think, come on, like Bernardo Silva.
Phil Foden and Bernardo Silva.
Bernardo Silva's not a gym rat, is he? Let's be fair. So to me, I think that's too easy. I think it's a little bit lazy, if I'm being honest, in terms of analysis. I just think you have to judge it by what you see in terms of how he impacts the team. And I just thought yesterday, particularly, and some of the games I've seen him, I'm thinking to myself, I just want a bit more, mate. not saying you have to do Johan Cruyff turns in the middle of the park or dominate games like Michel Platini, but need to see a little bit more. And I think in terms of the fringe players, especially who do come in, yes, it's not meant to be easy, Ray. But when you get given an opportunity, you better do your best to make sure you grasp it. And unfortunately for him, he hasn't shown that for me, and I'm not alone in that. And yeah, listen, the season's not.
Mark
the season's
mentions
not over.
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, Mark mentions there about ESR, and he was such a big player for us last season. So I know he's obviously had his injury problems, but it is a little bit puzzling why Arteta is reluctant to give him minutes.
Yeah, good question. Good point.
Because he is a bit more. Well, he's a lot more physical, isn't he? He's got that sort of strength and aggression, and he can sort of give you that kind of like third man midfield run, and he's got a goal in him. So it is a bit strange.
I meant that comment. Yeah, Matthew, you're right. I remember that when that happened, because it's for me. You pull the trigger where he was. Yeah. I don't understand why you're trying to cross it from there. And yeah, I remember that. I remember that very clearly. I was like, oh my god, like, and I think
that was shocking. And obviously, if I try and stick up for him, generally that's fair enough. But like I say, for yesterday and in the last couple of games, I can't defend him. He should have fired that across the goal. Anything can happen.
Yeah,
just to sort of float it when we don't have a big target striker anyway or a physical presence. It is baffling. It was easy pickings for Bazunu, wasn't it?
Yeah, and like we've mentioned, big up to people in the chat for this early morning on an Albert JTV Saturday Live in the morning. I don't feel like smiling. Trust me, I'm not. I'm still masking the pain, man. Believe me, Arsenal fans. Had my club level experience was ruined with that result yesterday. But Ray, we take a point. I thought Reece Nelson come on and did really well. Actually, he was very direct. He got the ball in the box, and I thought he did all right in his little cameo appearance. But too many Arsenal players were off it, and it was summed up with that Thomas Partey shot at the end. Wow. I think he had brain freeze, man, because I don't know what he was thinking trying to shoot from there. Trossard come on and was a bit lively. To fair play to him.
Hit the bar, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He did. And it's not after. It's not. People are going to say I'm saying this because it was, you could look at things back, but I'm pretty surprised he didn't start. But then you look at the system-wide, think, well, how would they have done it? Saw people talking about maybe starting Zinchenko centrally and obviously keeping Tierney in as a possibility, potentially. But it's all if buts and maybes, and the result's done, my friend, man. 5 points ahead, City 2 games in hand. So I want to get your quick thoughts, mate. So my thing was, and I said this to you and many people on my channel before, the 3 critical games for me for Arsenal were the Liverpool game away, Man City away, and obviously Newcastle away. And they have to win one of those games. What's your sort of thoughts going into Wednesday? For me, it was, kind of what position are Arsenal, how much pressure can Arsenal sort of keep under wraps going into that City game? It made it a bit worse. It made it harder for themselves just because the way they're playing at the moment.
Yeah.
And obviously the quality of the opposition we're going to come up against on Wednesday. What's your immediate thoughts on into that, mate?
I think it's a must win. And if we got the wins last night and against West Ham, it would have been we could have possibly lost, or we could have, at least drawn, and that would have been great. But unfortunately, dropping points in the manner that we have, it's a must win, mate. I think we have to win all our games now. Whereas I think you mentioned Liverpool, City and Newcastle. I think we could originally, before we played those, I think we could afford to have won 1 and maybe drawn 2 or lost 1, drawn 1, whichever combination. Now we have to win. So it's going to be a very.
What do you feel if we've got a point?
Pardon?
How do you feel if we've got a point?
Normal circumstances, I'd be pleased with that, but I don't think it's going to be enough. I think it would keep it alive, and we then have to rely on Man City to at least lose one of their games, because we have a game in hand, maybe even 2 games. And just the way that they're playing, the experience and the players they have with the manager they have,
I was going
a tall order.
I was going to say, do you say that more because of the way Arsenal thrown away points, or because the juggernaut of Man City?
Bit of both, unfortunately. Bit of both, because we have shown people throughout the term bottle and all of this.
Oh, here we go.
I think it's personally it's inexperience and a bit of naivety, and whether you want to call that bottling, then fair enough. But I just think that we've got such a young squad. We haven't been in this position as a team yet, and like I say, the prize is massive, and it's weird when there's pressure on you. You sometimes make silly mistakes. I mean, if there was no pressure on us, would Ramsdale make that mistake? It's all if buts or maybes, isn't it? But I do feel like we have to go to the Etihad, mate, and I do feel like we've got to win.
Yeah, I mean, as Samath mentioned about a point, the only thing is, if we did get a point Wednesday, we have to go and win at Newcastle. And again, like I said, we have to. We have to win one of those 3 games, man. Them away games. Listen, City haven't got bankers. Let's have it right. They've got to go Everton away, Fulham, Brentford, and Brighton.
Well, what's the gap? Is it 5 points as it stands now? So if we was to draw, it would stay at 5.
Yeah.
They would have 2 games in hand effectively. So if they won one and then dropped points in the other, and we was to win all our games, then with a point at Man City, then we could still be champions. But like I say, I think we just have to go into every fixture of ours now thinking that they're going to win every game, and we just have to be perfect now. Yeah,
no, it's true. It's true. It's going to be the game of our lives on Wednesday. We're going to need a bit of luck, and then but obviously, I'll probably speak for every Arsenal fan up and down the country. If we defend like we have done for our home games this season and in recent weeks, we will get absolutely annihilated.
We will.
Even with City at 70-80%, because you can't defend like that. They're keeping clean sheets. We're not.
Yeah, I mean, even when we played them at the Emirates, I actually thought we'd done well, but their goals come from stupid errors from ourselves, and like you say, we can't afford to make any more of them this season, because ultimately that's what has cost us in the last 3 games, and this is why now every game, in my opinion, is a must win.
Yeah, 100%, man. That's it, man. People, Ray, I want to thank you for coming on, because I need to get out and about on the roads, man, to go and meet the fantastic people of SE16. People, if you know the postcode. But Ray, now, thank you for coming on, man. After such a
no worries, mate. Thank you for having me.
Jesus, man. But tell the people where they can find you, man.
If you want to follow me on Twitter, handle's just there, Ray_Kasim. Like I say, thank you again, mate, for having me. Thank you, chat, for watching and listening to us today. And it's tough, but just try and keep the faith, people.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. People, get your virtual waves goodbye, man, because Albert JTV logging off in about 15 seconds, man. But no, Ray, pleasure to get you on, man. Like I said, it was late night getting in this morning, technically. But people in the chat, we go Wednesday. It's Arsenal fans have moaned for years they want a title race. And the last time I checked, there's no memo that says a title run is easy. Even if you are Man City. Ask Liverpool.
We never do things the easy way, do we? Never do it the easy way.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Big outs to people in the chat. Big outs to Jenny and Mark in the chat, especially as well. And thank you for the guy that managed to tune in. You can watch this back on Catch Up, as we'll go on my Spotify and Anchor, so you can hear me and Ray's dulcet tone representing South East London and Hastings. People, is
big up.
Yeah.
Hastings.
Yeah.
Hastings.
Before Hastings on the map. But people, this is Albert JTV over and out, your host. Listen, got the game of our lives on Wednesday. Buckle up, people. It's going to be coming. See you soon. Take care.
Come on, you Gunners.
Bye.